There comes a point in the journey of every awakened soul where the outer world no longer makes sense. You work hard, you think deeply, you help others, and yet, you struggle to survive in a world that seems to reward the superficial and punish the sincere. You may look around and ask, why do I, who see the truth so clearly, still struggle to pay my bills? If this question haunts you, understand this. It's not because you are lazy or unworthy or cursed. It's because you are being reshaped for something that money alone could never buy: inner mastery. Today we will explore 5 reasons why the chosen ones, the awakened, the healers, the deep thinkers, often struggle financially, and more importantly, what to do about it. When a person begins to awaken to who they truly are, something profound happens inside them. The world they once knew, the one that revolved around achievement, validation and status, begins to feel hollow. They can no longer fake excitement for things that used to thrill them. Promotions, possessions, applause, all of it begins to lose its grip. What matters now is meaning. They want their life to mean something. They want their actions to carry weight. They want their work to have soul. This shift is beautiful, but it also brings an invisible cost. Because while the outer world continues to run on material exchange and measurable productivity, the inner world of the awakened person starts running on truth, creativity, and purpose. It's as if you've started speaking a new language that the old world doesn't yet understand. You look around and see people making fortunes doing things that feel shallow, while your own deep and meaningful contributions seem overlooked or undervalued. It can feel unfair, even disorienting, but this struggle is not a punishment. It's the side effect of transformation. When you begin to value meaning over money, you're learning to live by a higher compass. You're saying, I would rather be authentic and broke than fake and rich. And yet that mindset, while noble, can quietly sabotage you if left unbalanced. Because meaning and money are not enemies. They are 2 languages of energy, one spiritual, one material, and both are necessary for a complete life. Many people who value meaning over money grew up in environments that taught them that wealth corrupts. They were told stories where the rich were greedy and the poor were pure. They internalized a subconscious belief that to be spiritual or kind, one must reject material success. As a result, even when they have opportunities to earn, they downplay their gifts or undercharge for their time. They tell themselves they are above money, but secretly they feel anxious every time a bill arrives. This inner split creates emotional exhaustion. The truth is, money is not the problem. Attachment is. The moment you start worshipping money, it owns you. But the moment you see it as a tool, it serves you. The irony is that people who truly value meaning are the ones who should be the most financially empowered, because they would use resources for growth, healing, and creation, not destruction. Let's take a simple example. Imagine a gifted teacher who can change lives through her words. She spends years giving free workshops, refusing to charge because she feels teaching is her calling. She barely covers rent, constantly feels drained, and starts resenting the very work that once gave her joy. One day, she decides to ask for a small fee. At first, guilt floods her. She feels she's selling out. But as she continues, she notices something strange. The people who pay show up more committed, more focused. They value her time and she values her gift. Her message reaches farther. Her impact grows. What changed wasn't her message. It was her relationship to energy at change. When you value meaning over money, it's crucial to remember that money follows meaning when meaning meets service. Purpose by itself is powerful, but purpose connected to solving real-world problems becomes sustainable. You cannot pay bills with good intentions, but you can with integrity, driven action that channels your purpose into something useful for others. Consider artists, healers or innovators who turned their pain into contribution. They didn't abandon meaning to make money. They learned to package meaning in a way the world could receive it. A musician who sings about healing, a therapist who builds an online program, a writer who self-publishes books that change lives. These are examples of people who refused to separate soul from structure. They found a way to bridge the invisible and the visible, the spiritual and the practical. If you are one of those people who feel stuck between wanting to live meaningfully and needing to survive financially, understand this. Your resistance to money is really resistance to power. Deep down you fear that having more might make you less pure, less connected, or less humble. But power doesn't corrupt everyone. It only amplifies what is already there. A greedy person with money becomes greedier. A conscious person with money becomes more capable of helping others. You must give yourself permission to want both, to live with purpose and to prosper. Because when your survival is secure, your creativity can finally breathe. You can focus on creating, teaching, healing, or leading without fear or fatigue. You can give freely because you are not running on empty. The world doesn't need more people who hate money. It needs more awakened people who know how to use it wisely. Every time a conscious soul becomes financially empowered, humanity takes a step toward balance. You are not here to escape the material world. You are here to transform it by embodying a higher way of being within it. So when you find yourself choosing meaning over money, don't stop there. Choose meaning first, yes, but then let that meaning fuel your prosperity. Let your integrity be the foundation upon which abundance stands. You are not meant to choose between your soul and your stability. You are meant to unite them, because when the two walk together, you become unstoppable, not just a dreamer of better worlds, but a builder of them. From an early age, many sensitive and awakened souls were taught that their value lay in how much they could give to others. They learned to read emotions before anyone spoke, to comfort when others cried, to offer peace even when they were falling apart inside. In school, at home, in relationships, they were rewarded for being kind, selfless, dependable, the one everyone could turn to. Slowly, a pattern took root in their subconscious. Love is earned by giving, not receiving. It begins innocently. You're praised for helping your parents, for being the good one, who doesn't cause trouble, for staying quiet while others get attention. Every thank you reinforces the message that your worth is tied to your usefulness. When you grow up this way, you don't even realize that your boundaries are dissolving, that you've learned to anticipate others' needs before your own. Serving becomes your identity, and while serving is noble, the problem arises when it becomes one-sided. You start to feel uncomfortable when someone offers you help. You downplay your struggles, insisting, "I'm fine," even when you're not. You hesitate to charge for your work or accept gifts because it feels wrong, as if receiving somehow makes you selfish or greedy. This is not humility, it's conditioning. You are programmed to associate receiving with taking, and taking with guilt. As adults, many people who have this conditioning unconsciously block abundance. They may pray for financial relief, opportunities, or success, but when those blessings start to appear, they subconsciously push them away. They underprice their services, refuse compliments, or turn down offers of help. On the surface, it seems like modesty, but beneath that, there's a deep-seated fears. What if I'm not worthy of being supported? This is why so many gifted, heart-centered individuals struggle financially. They are brilliant at giving, teaching, healing, listening, creating, but their inner wiring tells them that receiving is dangerous, and so the energy flow stops. Energy, whether emotional or financial, is meant to move like a river. It flows out and returns. Giving is the outward current, receiving is the inward. When you give constantly without allowing the return, the river runs dry. That's when burnout, resentment, and scarcity begin to set in. You can't pour from an empty vessel, yet that's exactly what many empaths try to do. They give until they collapse. Think about the people who always offer advice but never take it, or those who are there for everyone else but have no one to lean on. They don't lack love, they lack permission. Permission to rest, to accept, to be cared for. Somewhere deep down, they believe that if they stop serving, they'll stop mattering. A striking example of this dynamic appears in the lives of caregivers and healers. Consider a nurse who works tirelessly during double shifts, always covering for others, always staying late. Her patients adore her, her colleagues rely on her, but inside she's exhausted. When she finally takes a day off, she feels guilty. Her mind whispers, "You're letting people down." That guilt is not truth, it's programming, and until it's unlearned, she'll remain trapped in a cycle of over-giving and under-receiving. The same pattern shows up in spiritual communities. Many lightworkers, teachers, and counselors hesitate to charge for their time because they believe helping others should be freed. They forget that energy exchange is sacred. If the universe itself runs on balance, night and day, inhale and exhale, giving and taking, then why should human interaction be any different? When you deny someone the chance to give back to you, you deny them the experience of gratitude and reciprocity. Learning to receive doesn't mean becoming entitled or greedy. It means allowing life to love you back. It means recognizing that your worth is not measured by sacrifice. When someone gives you a gift, it's an act of trust and connection. When you receive with openness, you honor both yourself and the giver. Breaking this conditioning takes time and conscious effort. It begins by observing your reactions. Notice how you feel when someone compliments you. Do you deflect it, or can you simply say, "Thank you"? Notice how you handle opportunities. Do you question if you deserve them? Do you downplay your skills when someone praises them? Each of these moments is a chance to rewrite the pattern. Imagine your heart as a well. Every time you give, you draw water from it. If you never allow it to be refilled, it will run dry no matter how noble your intentions are. Receiving, whether love, money, or support, is what refills the well. It ensures that your giving remains genuine and sustainable, not forced or resentful. You are not here to be a martyr of service. You are here to embody balance, to give from fullness, not depletion. The universe doesn't reward suffering, it responds to harmony. When you learn to receive with grace, you send a signal to the world that you are ready for flow, ready for abundance, ready for ease. The truth is, life is not meant to be a one-way exchange. You are not only a giver, you are also a vessel through which energy returns. And when you allow that flow, when you finally stop resisting support, love, and prosperity, you'll realize that receiving is not selfish, it is sacred. It completes the circle that giving alone could never close. For generations, people were taught that success comes from following the rules: work hard, stay loyal to your job, don't take risks, and eventually you'll be rewarded. That system worked in a world built on hierarchy, where obedience and consistency were the keys to survival. But the world has changed. The economy, technology, and human consciousness have evolved. Yet many awakened souls are still trying to play a game that no longer exists. They cling to old models of safety, steady jobs, predictable routines, external approval, while the universe is quietly pulling them towards something far more aligned with who they truly are. The problem is not that they're lazy or unmotivated. It's that their inner compass is tuned to a new frequency, while their outer life is still structured around outdated rules. They're trying to live consciously in a system built for unconscious survival. That's why it feels so exhausting. It's like trying to run modern software on an old computer. No matter how hard you try, it keeps crashing. The old rules say, get a degree, find a stable job, climb the ladder, retire. The new world says, create, collaborate, innovate, and express your authenticity. The old rules say, follow authority. The new ones say, trust intuition. The old rules tell you to suppress your uniqueness to fit in. The new ones demand that you use it to stand out. Those who are awakening often feel torn between these two realities. They can sense that something deeper is calling them, to teach, to create, to heal, to lead. But fear tells them to hold on to the familiar, even if it no longer fits. This inner conflict can be paralyzing. On one hand, your soul is whispering that you were never meant for the assembly line, that you came to build something original. On the other, society is shouting that you'll fail if you step off the beaten path. That tension keeps many chosen ones stuck in survival mode, doing work that drains them just to feel safe, even though that safety is an illusion. Consider the story of a man who spent 15 years working in corporate finance. He was intelligent, disciplined, and good at his job, but every morning he woke up with a heaviness he couldn't explain. His spirit was restless. During the pandemic, his company downsized, and he lost everything he thought defined him. His position, his income, his identity. For months, he felt broken. But slowly, something unexpected happened. He began painting again, something he hadn't done since college. What started as a small act of self-expression turned into an online business selling art that spoke to people's emotions. Within 2 years, he was earning more than he had at his corporate job, and for the first time he felt alive. This story isn't about luck. It's about alignment. The moment he stopped clinging to the old rulebook and allowed himself to operate from authenticity, life began to support him in ways the old system never could. Many people still believe that working hard within the old structures is the only way to earn stability. But the truth is, those structures were built for a different time, when creativity was a threat to control and obedience was necessary for industrial survival. Today, the world rewards originality, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. Those who dare to bring their full selves into their work are the ones who thrive. The ones who hide behind old systems often find themselves struggling no matter how much effort they put in. The chosen ones struggle financially not because they lack potential, but because they are trying to exchange their new light for old currency. They are meant to create new forms of value, new ways of working, teaching, and healing, but they keep trying to fit those gifts into outdated molds. You can't expect your unique purpose to prosper inside someone else's system. You must build your own. There's a powerful shift happening globally. Individuals are moving from being employees of systems to creators of ecosystems. The gig economy, digital platforms, and online education have opened doors for people to turn passions into livelihoods. The rules have changed. It's no longer about fitting into institutions, but about creating your own rhythm. The most financially successful conscious individuals today are not necessarily the most educated or experienced, but the most authentic. They don't follow trends, they set them. The fear of abandoning the old rules is understandable. Those rules once provided structure and identity, but clinging to them now is like refusing to leave a crumbling house because it once sheltered you. To thrive in this new era, you must allow yourself to evolve beyond the comfort of obedience and into the freedom of creation. You must give yourself permission to experiment, to fail, to learn through movement instead of waiting for certainty. Think of life as a dance. The old rhythm has ended, but you're still moving to it out of habit. Meanwhile, a new melody is playing, one that only you can hear clearly. At first, it feels awkward to move differently, to let go of the steps everyone else seems to know. But the moment you surrender to the new rhythm, you realize that the dance was never about following rules. It was always about expressing the music inside you. The universe is not asking you to abandon structure, it's asking you to rebuild it around your authenticity. The old system taught you to trade time for money. The new one invites you to trade value for impact. The old system demanded conformity, the new one celebrates uniqueness. When you stop playing by old rules, you stop working against yourself. You begin to align with life's natural flow, where abundance comes not from pleasing others but from living truthfully. The future belongs to those who create new rules, the ones who are brave enough to step into uncertainty and trust that their gifts are not accidents, but assignments. The moment you accept that you were never meant to fit the old world, you'll finally begin to shape the new one. One of the greatest paradoxes among awakened souls is this: they claim to want abundance, yet deep down they are terrified of being seen. The idea of financial success excites them in theory, but when opportunities arise that require visibility, self-promotion or leadership, they shrink. They tell themselves they are not ready yet, that they need to perfect their craft first, or that it's not about fame. But beneath these rationalizations lies a deeper truth, a fear of exposure, a fear that once the light hits them, they'll be judged, misunderstood, or rejected. For many chosen ones, poverty feels familiar, even safe. They've learned to survive in it. Struggle becomes a strange kind of comfort zone, a place where expectations are low and judgment is minimal. You can't fail if no one's watching. You can't disappoint anyone if you never stand out. The subconscious mind often prefers that safety over the vulnerability that comes with visibility. To be seen means to be evaluated. To be evaluated means to risk rejection, and rejection for the sensitive soul feels like death. This fear doesn't come out of nowhere. It's often rooted in childhood experiences. Maybe you were the child who was laughed at for expressing big ideas. Maybe you were punished for being too outspoken, too different, too intense. Perhaps you were told to be humble, don't show off, or don't make others uncomfortable. Over time, these messages carved grooves in your psyche, teaching you that visibility equals danger. So now, as an adult, even when you consciously desire success, your nervous system associates it with pain. You post your work online but secretly hope no one sees it. You get invited to speak but suddenly feel unworthy. You dream of starting a business or a channel or a brand, but something inside whispers, "Who do you think you are?" The mind disguises this fear as logic. I just need more time. It's not the right moment. I don't care about recognition. But beneath the surface, it's fear wearing the mask of humility. This fear of visibility is one of the biggest blocks to abundance. The world cannot reward what it cannot see. Your gifts may be extraordinary, but if they remain hidden, they cannot circulate, and what does not circulate cannot attract energy, including money. The energy of prosperity moves through connects change, through being known. Hiding your light keeps you spiritually pure perhaps, but materially stuck. Think of the countless healers, artists, and thinkers who live in quiet frustration because they know they carry something powerful inside, but can't seem to break through. They look at others who are less talented but more visible and wonder why life seems to favor them. It's not that the universe favors them, it's that they allow themselves to be seen. They take the risk. They show up imperfectly. They let people see their process, not just their polish, and because of that, they create flow. There's a story of a woman who was a gifted writer, but she refused to publish her work. She told herself she was protecting her privacy, but really she feared criticism. After years of hiding, she finally shared one piece online. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. Within weeks, thousands resonated with her words. She was overwhelmed, not by hate but by gratitude. People thanked her for expressing what they couldn't say themselves. That experience changed her. She realized the thing she feared, being seen, was actually the bridge to everything she wanted: connection, validation, freedom. Visibility is not about ego, it's about alignment. When you step forward, you give others permission to step forward too. Your visibility becomes medicine. It helps others see what's possible for them. The ones who are meant to judge you will always find a reason, but the ones who are meant to grow with you will find light in your courage. It's also important to recognize that fear of visibility is often fear of responsibility. Being seen means being accountable to your potential. Once people recognize your gift, you can no longer hide behind excuses. You must live your truth publicly, and that can feel terrifying, especially for those who've spent years dimming themselves to avoid confrontation. But the alternative is worse: to live unseen, unheard, unexpressed. To die with your message still inside you. There's a reason so many people sabotage opportunities right before a breakthrough. They get sick, procrastinate, or pick fights with loved ones. It's not bad luck, it's the body's way of avoiding the stress of visibility. The subconscious mind says, if we stay small, we stay safe. But true safety doesn't come from hiding. It comes from knowing that you can handle being seen, that your worth is not dependent on others' approval. When you understand that visibility is not about being perfect, but about being authentic, the fear begins to lose its power. You realize that the world doesn't want your flawless version, it wants your real one. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with presence. The most magnetic leaders are not the ones who never fail, but the ones who keep showing up despite fear, despite criticism, despite self-doubt. The irony is that when you finally stop fearing visibility, abundance flows almost naturally. Opportunities, collaborations, and support appear because you're finally emitting a clear signal. You're no longer hiding behind invisibility. You're standing in alignment. The energy of the universe responds to clarity, not hesitation. The moment you declare, I'm ready to be seen, doors start opening that you didn't even know existed. It's not poverty that keeps you small. It's the fear of being fully expressed. Poverty feels safer than vulnerability. But every time you choose safety over authenticity, you trade your potential for comfort. You silence your calling to avoid discomfort. Yet the truth is, your gifts were never meant to stay hidden. They were meant to serve, to inspire, to elevate. The world doesn't need another hidden genius. It needs your light. It needs you to step forward, to speak, to share, to be visible, even trembling, even uncertain, even imperfect. Because real abundance begins the moment you stop hiding. When you find yourself in a season of financial struggle, it's easy to believe something has gone terribly wrong, that you've failed, that you're unlucky, or that you're being punished. But what if this period of scarcity isn't a punishment at all? What if it's preparation? Many awakened souls are not being denied abundance. They are being trained for it. They are not being kept small out of cruelty, but being refined for stewardship, for the kind of wealth that doesn't corrupt but transforms. When you are chosen to carry more influence, more wisdom, more resources, life must first make sure you can handle it. It tests your integrity before it trusts you with abundance. If money came too easily when your emotional foundation was still unstable, it might magnify your insecurities rather than heal them. Wealth has a way of amplifying what's already inside. If you carry fear, it makes you more afraid. If you carry guilt, it makes you more self-destructive. But if you carry wisdom and balance, it multiplies your capacity to create good. That's why many chosen ones are delayed in their material success. They are in spiritual training, learning to hold energy, not just chase it. Imagine a young tree. If it grows too quickly without strong roots, the first storm will tear it from the ground. Nature knows this, so it slows growth to strengthen the foundation. The same is true for your financial journey. The struggle you're facing now, the scarcity, the uncertainty, the lessons in humility, are not evidence of failure. They are the universe's way of deepening your roots before allowing your branches to reach the sky. You are not learning how to survive anymore. You've already mastered that. You've survived heartbreak, loss, and rejection. You've endured long nights of doubt and fear. Survival is no longer your lesson, stewardship is. Survival is about getting by. Stewardship is about managing blessings with wisdom. Survival says, how do I make it through today? Stewardship says, how do I multiply what I have to serve others and honor my purpose? The chosen ones are being trained to hold abundance with a steady hand, to use resources with consciousness, to live with power without being consumed by it. Think of the times you've been given something before you were ready, a relationship, a job, or even a small success. Maybe it slipped away because you didn't yet know how to nurture it. That loss wasn't failure, it was feedback. It was showing you what needed strengthening. The same principle applies to money. You are not just meant to receive wealth, you are meant to carry it, to use it as a tool for creation, not an idol of validation. Real wealth demands maturity. It requires clarity, discipline, and purpose. The universe will not give lasting abundance to a mind still ruled by scarcity or to a heart that feels unworthy of prosperity. So, before the external reward comes, life sends internal lessons. You learn patience when the bills are due. You learn humility when you must ask for help. You learn gratitude when you have little and joy when you have nothing. Each of these experiences shapes your character until you no longer need money to feel secure, loved, or powerful. Only then can abundance enter safely, because it no longer owns you. There's a quiet dignity in this training process. You begin to see that every delay has meaning. The job that didn't work out, the business that failed, the client who disappeared. They were all parts of the curriculum. You are being shown what doesn't align with your values, what kind of work drains your soul, and what kind of people cannot walk with you into the next chapter. A story that illustrates this truth is that of a man who dreamed of building a foundation to help struggling artists. He worked long hours, lived modestly, and often questioned why success eluded him. After years of struggle, his business finally stabilized, and within a few years looking back, he realized that if he had received wealth earlier, he would have wasted it, not out of greed but immaturity. The years of hardship had taught him empathy, restraint, and discernment. By the time he gained abundance, he knew exactly how to use it to uplift others. His struggle was never a detour, it was his preparation for stewardship. That's what many chosen ones miss, that this current struggle is building emotional intelligence. It's teaching you to make decisions from intuition, not fear. It's helping you understand what truly matters. Because once abundance arrives, you'll be tested again, not by lack but by excess. And those who haven't learned stewardship often fall to it. They mistake money for meaning and comfort for purpose. But those who've been trained in the fire of scarcity carry gratitude in every dollar and humility in every opportunity. So, when life withholds material blessings, it's not closing doors, it's building capacity, it's stretching your patience, refining your focus, and ensuring that when you finally receive abundance, it won't destroy your peace. You're not behind, you're being entrusted. You are learning that true power is not in having more, but in managing more wisely. The universe doesn't want you to just make it. It wants you to master it. It's preparing you to hold abundance without losing your soul, to walk in wealth without forgetting compassion, and to lead others through example rather than ego. Every delay, every dry season, every test is part of your apprenticeship in stewardship, the sacred training that turns survivalists into leaders, dreamers into builders, and chosen ones into stewards of light and legacy. So if you find yourself standing in the tension between who you are and where you want to be, between struggle and abundance, purpose and survival, take a breath. You are not lost, you are not behind, you are being reshaped. Every challenge you faced, every delay, every unanswered prayer has been part of your preparation. Life has not been trying to break you, it's been training you to hold power without losing your peace. You were never meant to chase money blindly or trade your soul for survival. You were meant to awaken, to remember that true wealth begins within, in your clarity, your courage, your service, your authenticity. When those inner riches align, the outer ones follow naturally. The world doesn't need more people who are rich in possessions but poor in purpose. It needs more awakened souls who are both prosperous and principled, people who use abundance as a force for creation, compassion, and healing. That's what you're being called into now. So, lift your head. Stop apologizing for wanting more and stop settling for less. Your struggle was never proof of weakness, it was proof of initiation. You are not here to merely survive the system. You are here to outgrow it, to rebuild it, to redefine what it means to live in true abundance. Remember, the chosen ones may struggle longer, but they rise stronger. And when they finally do, they don't just build wealth, they build worlds.